Ever wondered what people ate to get through the tough times of the Great Depression? They had to make do with very few ingredients, but they managed to create meals that were filling and satisfying. Let's explore some of these resourceful dishes that helped people survive those difficult years. First up is the Depression-era stew. This wasn't your typical beef stew, it was more like a throw whatever you have into the pot dish. Potatoes, carrots, onions, maybe some barley if you had it, and meat, only if you were lucky enough to have some. This stew is a great way to use up leftovers and clean out your fridge today, and you might just discover a new favorite comfort food. Now let's talk about the famous garbage plate, a dish that might make you raise an eyebrow at the name, but it was a lifesaver back in the day. Imagine a plate piled high with macaroni salad, home fries, baked beans, and maybe some sausage or ground beef. Top it off with chili, onions, mustard, hot sauce, or ketchup. It sounds odd, but this Rochester, New York specialty was a go-to meal when budgets were tight. It had all the carbs and fats you needed to keep going. Cold milk soup might surprise you, but it was a quick and easy staple during the Depression. This simple dish was made with milk, sliced bananas, sugar, and sometimes bread or other fruits. It might not seem like much, but it was a way for families to get the calories and nutrients they needed when fresh ingredients were hard to come by. Plus, it was perfect for hot summer days when you didn't want to turn on the stove. Then there's prune pudding, which might not sound exciting, but it was a hit during the Depression. Prunes were cheap, stored well, and were used in many dishes. Even Eleanor Roosevelt served prune pudding at the White House to promote frugal eating. The prunes were cooked until soft, mashed, and mixed with water, sugar, and flour or cornstarch to thicken. It might not be the prettiest dessert, but it got the job done. During the Great Depression, the government came up with Milcorno, a kitchen miracle made from cornmeal and dried milk powder. This was a cheap and nutritious substitute for more expensive foods. Families could stretch their meals with Milcorno, using it to thicken soups, make cornbread, or even as porridge. While it's not something you see today, it was a lifesaver back then. Peanut butter and mayo sandwiches might sound strange, but they were a popular choice during the Depression. Before PB&J became the go-to sandwich, people combined creamy peanut butter with tangy mayo for a unique flavor combination that was cheap and filling. If you're feeling adventurous, give it a try. You might just find a new favorite. Bean and tomato stew was another Depression-era comfort food. Beans were a staple because they were nutritious, cheap, and versatile. This stew combined beans with tomato broth and sometimes potatoes, carrots, or rice. It was a simple but hearty meal that could be eaten on its own or with bread, rice, or mashed potatoes. Sometimes simple was best. Tomato sauce with mashed potatoes doesn't sound gourmet, but it was a popular dish during the Depression. Potatoes were filling and cheap, and the tomato sauce added some much-needed flavor. This dish could be easily adapted depending on what you had on hand, and was a comforting meal for many families. Mock apple pie is a genius creation from the Depression era. When apples were scarce, people made do with what they had. Ritz crackers. The crackers were used as a crust, and the filling was made from sugar, cinnamon, and water, mimicking the taste of real apple pie. It was a clever way to satisfy a sweet tooth without spending much. Spaghetti with boiled carrots and white sauce was another dish that made the most of simple ingredients. Promoted by Eleanor Roosevelt, this dish was easy to make and fed a family without breaking the bank. The creamy sauce made from milk, flour, and butter added a touch of richness to the meal. One of the more unusual dishes from the Depression era was the peanut butter stuffed baked onion. A whole onion was hollowed out, filled with peanut butter, and baked until the onion was sweet and caramelized. It might sound strange, but the combination of sweet onion and salty peanut butter was a clever way to create a filling meal from simple ingredients. During tough times, people got creative with what they had. Vinegar cobbler is one example, a dessert made with flour, sugar, butter, and fruit vinegar when fresh fruit was hard to come by. The vinegar mimicked the tartness of apples or lemons, creating a dessert that was surprisingly tasty despite its humble ingredients. Finally, let's not forget about Hoover stew, named after President Herbert Hoover, who was often blamed for the Great Depression. This simple stew was made with hot dogs, macaroni, canned tomatoes, and whatever vegetables were available. It was a one-pot meal that was cheap, filling, and easy to make, perfect for families trying to stretch their food budget. These Depression-era recipes might seem odd or simple today, but they were a testament to the resilience and creativity of people who had to make do with what little they had. Trying out these dishes can give us a taste of history and remind us of the resourcefulness that helped so many survive tough times.